Welcome back to an exciting Moms Moving On. I have one of your favorites back again. She really needs no introduction. Kate Anthony is here probably for the third or fourth time. I've lost track. Each time gets better and better. And this time we're talking about the D word, not the obvious D word. It's the D word as in her book, the D word book. Kate, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle. I adore you.
I love you. And I love just the first of all that you put a book out into the world. I think it was like high time and well overdue, but also
Yeah.
the title, the cover, all of it is it's just perfect. It all comes together beautifully.
You. Thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. The whole process is like, wait, what? I did what? I wrote a book, and it's people are gonna read it you know what this is like.
Yeah. Your words are out in the wild.
Yeah, I literally, when I submitted it and they were like, you can make no more changes or whatever, that sort of moment, I was like, oh, wait, so this isn't like a Google Doc that I can go in and change as I see fit. This is static.
Yeah. Well, the best advice I got on that, because I had a very hard time with that, was no matter how many times you change it, you're always I'm now 3 years out. Absolutely. And I wish I had changed certain, that's just
absolutely. I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not gonna be reading it for, and being like, oh, I wish I had, because what my publisher said was that's what the second edition is for.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, good. All right. I have that option down the line, perhaps.
Okay. Well, yeah. I know you've been giving your spiel day after day about this book, but I'd like a more raw and uncut spiel. So I want not the pretty little package book deal. I want the real ugliness. I want to hear everything about it. I want to hear what sparked it. The moment that you were like, okay, these words need to be put on paper.
Gosh, that's it's sort of complicated, right? Because on the one hand, it was my ex-boyfriend actually, who was like, and he and I had dated 20 years ago and then reconnected 7 or 8 years ago and dated for a year again. And he had, in the intervening 25 years, he'd gotten married, gotten divorced. And when we got together and we first started dating for the second time, he was like, your blog really helped me through my divorce. Have you ever thought about putting it into a book? And I was like, no. So he was sort of the first person to kind of light that fire, and at the time it was like, oh yes, I can just turn my blog posts into a book. And as you and I know, it doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. And so the more my business grew, the more things happened. It was really friends, and my friend Zoe got a book deal, and she's like, bitch, if I have a book deal, you need a book deal. This is get off your ass and write the book. And I was like, come on.
I feel like I probably said something similar to you.
I think you did. Absolutely. And so, it was just okay, I've got to do this. I've always wanted to. What's really funny, Michelle, is that I found my journal. I actually have it right here. I found a journal from 2009 when I got divorced. The year I got divorced. I moved out of my house in May of 2009. And it literally says, it talks about women waking up, and that we're all, finding what we've been connected to instead of what doesn't fit. Is this just my friends, or is it happening everywhere? And it talks about the abuse in my marriage, but then it also talks about, writing a book. Literally says, I need to write this. I want to write a book. I want to write a divorce book. And I can't even find where it says what it literally says the next Eat, Pray, Love. As if.
You never know. You already manifested this, so why not?
That's right. It says, I will, this was my manifestation. If I say it, it will be so. I will write a best-selling book about navigating divorce with grace and finding myself in the process. It'll be a journey of self-discovery and will help millions of women find themselves, and it will make money to support me for years. And then I will write another one.
Well, okay. So that's it. It happened.
It only took 14 years, but I manifested it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe that? I know. I found that like last week, and I was like, holy fuck.
It's funny. Not funny, but in my book, I talked about a moment I had when I was in like the deepest, darkest place of my marriage before it ended. I was like, when you're like in a dark place and you're desperate to do anything and everything to feel better. Mm-hmm. I am not very woo-woo. At least I wasn't then. I probably would believe in this more now. But then somebody, a girl that worked for me suggested I go see this energy Reiki person. And I'm like, okay.
All right. Why? Right. Okay.
And so she told me that she had this vision when she was doing this of me being on a stage, talking about my struggles, helping people through. And then she asked me to write a note to myself and stick it on my bathroom mirror. And it was very similar to what you have in your journal. Basically, like, you're going to inspire people. People are going to be counting on you for support. I didn't even know yet that I was getting divorced at that point. But I do think, this is why the mind is such a powerful thing. Like, if you tell yourself something, you can absolutely create it, either subconsciously or consciously. And that's why you got to be very careful about the things you put out into the universe.
Absolutely. It was really a mind-blowing experience to find that, because I just realized sort of people always ask me like, how long did it take you to write your book? And I'm like, 52 years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, forever, but certainly 14, that it's been sort of, an idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So,
anything worth its weight is, it's going to take time, and you certainly have the knowledge and you have the experience both personally and professionally. So I'm curious if you can break down, like, what would, I read one of the reviews on your website. Read this book if the future seems uncertain and the present feels intolerable. Wow. How many people can relate to that? But take us through what the chapters have in them.
Well, the chapters, I worked really hard on chapter titles because I feel like, people turn to the chapter titles. What's in this book, right? And I think they're so important. And so I really wanted to get them right in terms of like having them say what people want to hear. And so I tried to make the chapter titles like your questions, right? You being the audience, right? The listeners. So, the first chapter is it them or is it me? Right? Like, because I think that's what we struggle with. Like, am I the problem? Is he the problem? I don't know. Like, who's the problem here? Like, what is the problem?
Yeah. And
sort of identifying.
I think for so many women, I'll say, at least the women I've worked with, that, every relationship when it gets bad is somewhat toxic. And I don't use the word toxic in a buzzwordy kind of way, but toxic in the sense that it's just not healthy for you anymore. And because you've tried so hard to make it work, and because you're dealing with somebody who maybe doesn't have the self-awareness, they're going to make you feel like it's you. And so I think that chapter can speak to anybody 100%. And everybody, because that is so relatable.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, in the introduction, I answer the most pressing question, which is, should I stay in my marriage for my kids? Right. I mean, that's what everybody wants to, that's like the first thing people want to know.
Right.
But chapter 2 is, I don't even know who I am anymore. Right. Because we lose ourselves in this process. Like when we're trying to, and when you've been in an unhappy marriage for any number of years, and usually we're in it for a really long time before we make the final decision. We've lost touch with ourselves. Like, there's a level of dissociating we have to do almost in order to become, just go through the day-to-day, right? Like getting through the day-to-day of being miserable, there's dissociation is sort of a defense mechanism, right? It's how we have to do it.
I'm laughing not because it's funny, because it's like so real. Like just that you're in go mode, fight or flight, just wake up and get to sleep like in one piece without a mental breakdown. I remember that so well.
Right. And so connecting, like, look, the book is called The D Word, Making the Ultimate Decision About Your Marriage. So the D is really about the decision. And so when you're making what amounts to one of the biggest decisions of your entire life, you need to have a connection with the self in order to, like, we need to know who's making that decision, right? And when we've been dissociating for so long, we have no idea. So it's important to do that. Chapter 3, why are women so unhappy in their marriages?
Oh,
How marriage exhausts women and benefits men. And I actually read this chapter on my podcast. So if anyone wants like a sneak peek, they can head on over to my podcast and listen to that. But it really just breaks down like how marriage benefits men and on the backs of women's labor, and, why this sort of institution, like, part of the, is it me, is it him, or is it just this thing?
mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's but I love him, which
That's
I know
sweet.
you and I both hear so often, right? But I love him. Really?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? Like,
Right.
what is love? Right. Am I being abused? So we go into, the personalities, the signs. I think I'm going crazy, unraveling the tangle of emotional abuse. I feel trapped, understanding emotional, spiritual, sexual, and cyber abuse. Do they know it's abuse, and can they change? One of the biggest questions that I get all the time. What if they're an addict or mentally ill?
Mm.
Is he a cheater or a sex addict?
This is good stuff, lady. You're covering it all.
Yeah.
Do you have a chapter that is particularly, I don't want to say your favorite, but that really brought a lot of emotion out of you?
Ooh,
or a favorite?
That's a hard question. I think the why are women so unhappy in their marriages is one of my favorites, because I think it really gets to the core of a lot of stuff. I will say that is he a cheater or a sex addict was maybe a little perhaps triggering for me.
Okay.
Right, because a lot of men, when they get caught cheating, will wave the sex addict flag, right, as an excuse, or get a jail free card.
Every celebrity in Hollywood is just somehow a sex addict. Yeah.
They all just have to go to the meadows, right? It's like, oh, but no, I'm a sex addict. I can't be held responsible for my actions, right? And that's a really difficult thing to sort of overcome. I don't know if there's one that was like particularly emotional for me, because it's really it's a breakdown of, clinical, client stories and examples of things that I've seen, and then analysis and some of my story. As writing a book, you have to be, very careful of the legal
I was going to ask you,
like nothing can be real.
I was going to ask you how you navigated that, because I know, like, with my publisher, there was a legal team. They read the book. They were very they helped me be very careful. But also my thought process in writing it was like, my daughter's going to grow up and read this one day. I don't want to paint her father in a bad light, nor should I have to get my point across. So how did you navigate that?
Well, look, my son, he's 18, and unfortunately has been privy to some pretty intense information about his father, certainly in the last couple of years, that he should never have had to have. But it's not because I presented it to him, but it's because his father, shit the bed a few times in very public and colossal ways. So protecting my son from information about his dad, like, that ship has sailed, and not in any part because of my actions, right? So, but I also will say that my ex and I have a really good working co-parenting and friendship. Like, we have developed, because of the work that he has chosen to do on himself, and the healing that he's chosen to do, and the personal responsibility he's chosen to take, and the amends that he's made, he and I are able to now have a really good friendship. And I didn't want to, I just didn't want to, he came to me a couple of weeks ago and he was really upset and he was crying and he's like, I just need to know how bad I look in your book. And I was like, oh my God, no, like, I really like, and he's like, I get it. I get it. But I didn't do that to him. I really didn't.
But
Listen, I spoke my truth.
Right. But I love that he didn't come to battle over it, but more just like, I accept how I treated you. Like, that self-awareness is huge. Most people never find that. Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. And he was, he owns that he abused me. Like, now it took a good 13 years, but he owns that now. And it's not easy for him. It's been a really painful journey for him. But he owns it now. And so there's actually no reason for me to drag him through the mud in that way. Like, here's the thing. I own my story. I own the fact, I name it, that it was abusive. I name that I was emotionally abused in my marriage. Like, I can't not say that. And there's some stories in the book that are attributed to other people that are mine. Let's just say, right?
Okay.
So, right, like, I've been able to
gotta do what you gotta do.
Listen, right? You've got to use, like, there's information that's really valuable. The important thing is, like, I guess the question I have to ask is this an important story? Does it need to be told?
Right.
For each of the incidents, right? If I have an example of something that is so concrete and it happens to have been my story, or, it happens to be a client story, right? Like, I have to tell it. I have to tell it in a way that's responsible, and I have to tell it in a way that's legal. But there are examples of things that have to be told so that people can really, people relate to stories,
True.
So, I mean, it's a tricky line. It's a really tricky line, as you know, for how to tell the truth without, getting yourself sued.
Yeah. And also more like, for, at least from my perspective, like, I have a very good and close relationship with my daughter's father, and she is so young. And
sure. Yes, exactly.
Our communities are so intertwined, it just would be, I'd rather people not connect to me as much because I won't share certain things, like, could I share more and have 1 million followers? Maybe, but also it's not worth it to me. So I do think that when you choose to play it smart, it's always the best choice. But I'm excited about your stories, and I'm sure other people will be too. So who needs to read this book and when?
Yeah. So, it towards the end of the book, I do get into, like, okay, how does divorce work? Right. Okay. I think I'm ready. Like, how do I have these conversations? Right. How do I not screw up my kids? So towards the end of the book, I get into, like, how does this divorce actually work? But really, this book is for women who are on the precipice, women who are struggling with this decision, women who are like, who wake up in the middle of the night going, should I stay or should I go? And, I believe that if you're asking the question, should I stay or should I go?
Time to go.
You pretty much know the answer, right? Because people who are happily married are not asking that question at all. Right? It's not a question. You do not wake up in the middle of the night and go, should I leave Spencer?
Right. No.
Right?
No.
Like,
oh
literally,
God, no.
No, right, exactly.
I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I love you.
Oh my God. I love you. Right, exactly.
But I think it was,
yeah. No,
I was going to say, I think it was you and I that talked about once, maybe it wasn't you, I'm going to pretend it was you, that the average woman spends about 4 years contemplating. Did we talk about this?
I don't know, but I believe it. I know I did, absolutely. And so I think what's important is to look at like, what are the questions you're actually asking, right? Are you actually like, is it, should I stay or should I go? Or is it, do I have the confidence and the strength to leave? Is it like, am I going to screw up my kids? Should I stay for my kids?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the real question? What are the real questions? Because if we can drill down into those, then we can actually move you somewhere. We can
Right.
move the needle. If you're just sitting in bed going, should I stay? Should I go? Should I stay? Should I go? Like, you're not, obviously you're contemplating more things, but so what I hope is that the reader actually gets more clarity about the questions that they're really asking. I think I liken this to, so I remember going to my very, very first 12-step meeting 100 years ago. And people were talking the inner thoughts that I had not even brought to my consciousness yet.
Wow.
Right? I was reading some of the literature and I wanted to throw it across the room and also like clutch it to my breast because it was putting words to these amorphous feelings that I had been having for so long that I didn't understand. And that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want this book to provide.
Well, that it will. I mean, there's no doubt that it will. And I just hope, my hope for you is that, I mean, I know this is evergreen content. This is a book somebody can pick up 20 years from now, and help them make a very difficult decision because, like you said, the stories help people feel seen and heard and connected. And maybe something you share awakens something in someone else's subconscious. And they're like, damn, that's me. And that's going to move the needle. And, listen, all the work that you do, and I've known you, 4 years now, is intentional and thoughtful and really helps make a difference. And I have no doubt that this book will also. Are you still taking clients in tandem with this? Okay.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. I'm about to do a bit of a overhaul and figure out like how I can, because doing one-on-one work is pretty limiting. I have my group program, Grit and Grace. But I want to find other ways to hold more women in the intimate way that it needs, right? So it's a difficult thing, but yes, I will always work privately with women, and the ways that I work with women may be shifting a little bit over the coming months, but everything will always be on my website. So if this, look, this book is kind of my gift to the world. And then I'm hoping that obviously from a business perspective, it would be great if like it made people actually want to work with me. Because this is not the kind of thing you can really go through. Like you can read the book and have all of the information that you need, right, but there's work that also has to be done.
Right. The book doesn't hold your hand the way Kate Anthony will.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So give us all the details. I know we can find it at all the major book retailers.
All the major retailers, my publisher's website, everywhere. One of the things that I'm really aware of is that a lot of people, this is a hard book you don't want this book in your Amazon order history with someone you share an Amazon account
I'm
with,
happy
right?
You're going here because I saw that on your website. Very smart.
Exactly. So on my website, I have a list of, here's a bunch of ways that we might be able to combat that, right? Here's some ideas of how you can buy the book in secret and not alert the person that you're trying to make this, not alert the person you're trying to make this decision about. So there's a page on my website that gives information on that. It's kateanthony.com/dword. And sorry, it's garbage day. The dog is Gaia is part of all of my podcast interviews. So that's a really important thing. Like, I have some ideas for how you can do it. So probably Amazon might not be your best idea for purchasing. Your local bookseller is always a better idea regardless. But it also might be a more sort of secretive way to do it. So I've got lots of ideas on my website for that.
I have an idea for you that we did that was very helpful. Was basically you could submit your name if you want the book, but you're scared to buy it, and somebody would buy it for you either locally and get it to you.
Yes, I have a fund actually. There are a lot of women who were like, you know, I'm not going to buy, I don't need to buy the book because I'm on the other side, but your work has helped me so much get to the other side. I want to pay it forward. And so I do have a fund for people that, like, you know, each book is $18, right? So you can donate 18, 36, like however much money you want. And then we'll be able to do that for women, which would be great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Always helping. Well, when is this available in everybody's hands?
December 26th.
Happy
December 26th. Happy Boxing Day.
Happy holidays, and start that new year with a good book in your hands.
Exactly. Now, are you doing, I know that my my assistant said that we're going to do a giveaway.
We are doing a giveaway
on Instagram.
And I would like to do it on Pub Day.
Great.
Let's do it on Pub Day if that works for you. I love
that. It totally works for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So you want to do that on Instagram, or how do you want to do? Sorry, should we talk about that offline?
Sure. Stay tuned, everybody, for the giveaway. Yeah, no, I have ideas for that, so we'll talk offline. But whether or not you are part of this giveaway, people, check it out, gift it to a friend. You know, the holidays can be a very isolating time for people who are in an unhappy marriage, contemplating, is this what life is going to feel like every holiday, as they scroll Facebook and see all the quote unquote happy couples. So think about that for your friends. Think about it for yourself. Think about getting in touch with Kate. We're here to support you also in any capacity. And yeah, I'm really excited for you, my friend. I can't wait for this to make the waves I know it's going to make.
Thank you, my love. Thank you for your support. As always, you're just a dear, and I adore you.
KateAnthony.com. We will obviously link everything, and we hope you have a very happy holiday season, and know that no matter what you're struggling with, there are wonderful people out there to help you, just like Kate and myself. We'll see you next time on Moms Moving On.